Hi everyone, it's another awesome day today. So on the vlog, I'll be sharing with you some excerpts from Philippine Opera Company's Passion, some insights from the artistic director of the company, from Karla Guiterrez, and Mr. Robbie Guevarra, who will be directing the production, will also speak about the work of Stephen Sondheim. And finally, Sheila Valderrama Martinez and Vien will be performing a short song from the production. Enjoy watching!
And who are the first timers here at the Opera House? Oh, welcome to the Opera House. So this is the headquarters of the Philippine Opera Company. And so thank you very much for coming. As the youths have said, it's a holiday, but despite for that, you're here with us. So actually, Philippine Opera Company is celebrating its 20th year in September. So with that, we are very, very happy that we are opening the 20th season with Stephen Sondheim's Passion. And we've been wanting to do Passion for several years already, and I guess it's very apt to do this coming with our 20th year. So I'll just give you a brief background of the Philippine Opera Company. So Philippine Opera Company started in 1999, and then we built the foundation 2001, I think, which is the Friends of the Philippine Opera Company. Because you know how hard it is to mount opera productions here in the Philippines. So with the help of the Friends of the Philippine Opera Company, we have two important programs. First is the Artistic Development Program, and the second is the Audience Development Program. The second is very, very important, since you know the Filipinos are not yet really educated when it comes to opera. So for the past few years, we are focusing on the programs of our Young Artist Series because we want to build up the audience for opera, educate them to opera. And the second is the Artistic Development Program, because me as a graduate of the College of Music, and since I've been producing operas for 20 years, I see the problem of graduates of the conservatories. When we graduate, hilaw pa when it comes to acting. Because we, in the curriculum of the conservatories, we are just too focused with the technique. Yes, you're nodding. Too focused on the technique. And I guess now, because of social media, and you know, people are so, they can watch anything, so mas the expectations. Gone are the days where the fat lady sings, you know, that just sing in front and then put your hand like this and then yun na yun. But nowadays, classical singers or opera singers, you should look like Hollywood actresses. You should be able to be able to act. So that's why with the Young Artist Series, we are focusing on that. So para we can be at par with the musical theater, because actually opera and musical theater is the same. So that's also our with the Audience Development Program. If you're enjoying watching musical, why not opera? So we're doing a lot of out of the box concepts, and and thank you to our angels. Now who've been very, very supportive. One, Tita Mel Cunanan, POC, and also we'd like to thank Mr. Mark Su for sponsoring our lunch this afternoon. He's also on and so so maybe I'll answer na lang later. If you have any questions about Philippine Opera Company, why we're doing Passion, why Passion, not an opera, So maybe, and I'm very, very privileged to have a good cast, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have to introduce this multi-talented, multi-awarded director, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Robbie Guevarra.
Good afternoon, thanks for coming. So, Passion. Can I just ask, who is not familiar with Stephen Sondheim in this room? Okay, just a handful. So you're not familiar with Passion? Okay, good. Well, just a very, very brief backgrounder. In my own words, I'm not officially quoting any publication or anything. Stephen Sondheim is probably the most revered composer on Broadway until today. Unmatched, he has also inspired Jonathan Larson. Jason Robert Brown was an apprentice of his. And a lot of the new composers now will always adhere to Stephen Sondheim as their idol and the most probably talented composer and lyricist. Especially the lyrics. You just need to Google his musicals and read the lyrics to see how brilliant they are. Passion though, when I first heard it back in the 90s, before Rep did it, it was once produced by Repertory Philippines in the mid-90s. I was in the cast. But before that, I bought the CD around 2 years before that, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it just listening to it. It wasn't like Into the Woods and Sweeney Todd, where you get everything right away by just listening to the songs. Passion wasn't like that the first time I listened to it, and I turned it off after like the fourth song. But until I read the script, that's when I realized it was one of his most beautiful operettas. It's not really a musical. As a matter of fact, when he wanted to tackle, this is already official because I read from his book. He has 2 books, Finishing the Hat and Look, I Made a Hat, which I encourage you to read if you're a Sondheim geek like me. There, when he saw the movie Pasión de Amor, which it's based on, and he wanted to convert it into a musical, James Lapine, his collaborator, who eventually directed the production, told him, that's a storyline that you cannot do as a musical. It has to be an opera. And Stephen Sondheim hates opera. So he had to marry both by doing what becomes an operetta. But Sweeney Todd is also an operetta. It's sung through. You need classical training to pull it off. But that's sung through. There's no book. He didn't want to do that again. He wanted a story like the movie, but he wanted to add the songs. But that's the formula for Broadway, right? For musicals. But for some reason, he was able to do it with the songs. And when we will be presenting 2 of the songs, you'll kind of get this thing that those songs cannot stand alone on by themselves. Because it's part of a really complete story, which is what an operetta is about. You have musicals where you can sing one song on my own, and they'll stand alone. Defying Gravity, that's fine. But for an operetta, it's a part of a whole. And that's the beauty of it, and that's the challenge. It's a 1-act operetta. It will probably run around an hour 50. I will not put any intermission because I don't want to interrupt whatever emotions will start building up. Hopefully from the audience. That's the goal. So that's my brief background there. A few months ago, when Karla told me actually the way it happened was, oh, I'm finally going to do what you told me, what you've been making me put it to do. And then I answered, and did. And then she goes, no, Passion. So I go, really? And then, of course, I didn't ask. I just said, who's directing it? And she goes, gusto mo? And I was like, yeah, of course. Ironically, being a Sondheim geek, my own company has not done Sondheim. So, actually this year, it's a Sondheim-rich season. Right? There will be 3 productions, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful that Manila will get to experience Stephen Sondheim, because the last time was Sweeney Todd, which was a rerun. And before that, oh gosh, a long time ago, I was part of company and a little fun thing happened on the week before. there was Into the Woods of Upstart. But people need to be reminded on the genius of Sondheim. Even though the movie came out of Into the Woods, it's not the same experience you get from a stage production. What I'm excited with Passion is, like I said, it's a very simple story, ergo a very simple set. It's not as brilliantly complicated as Into the Woods, where you have 4 or 5 stories that meet together as one. It's not outlandishly huge like Sweeney Todd. Although I did see a Barrow Street theater production where there was only a cast of 7 with Vince Sweeney Todd, and all 7 also played the chorus. That was brilliant, but that will never match Harold Prince's original direction. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever really seen or experienced a production of Sweeney Todd that will ever match that. Anyway, where was it? So Karla offered me, and of course I accepted right away. And I just told my partners in 9 works now, whatever plans you have for September, I'm not free. So, which has its own bad repercussions, by the way, which I just told you. So, it's our 10th year in 9 works, but we don't have any other productions. So, anyway, so that's the story of how I got involved with Passion. And from there, I brought in my Danielle Bartolome, with our musical director. I've had the privilege of meeting Venger Marquez, who is our vocal coach. It's his first time to not only coach a Sondheim, but it's also first time to coach for musical theater. And what a baptism of fire it is, because the brilliance of Stephen Sondheim is he's also the most difficult to learn and to execute note-wise. Last week when we were blocking, Venger was here and Danielle was here. It's also Danielle's first Sondheim, and it was our repetitor, Jelly. It's also his first Sondheim, so they were like really flabbergasted with, as music students, they're used to all years and years and years of music education, where you learn the do's and the don'ts, and Sondheim just goes against all of them. So Jen would play according and say, alam mo ito, bawal to eh. But it works. And then Danielle would open a page and he'd say, nakikita mo to, bawal din yan eh. We don't do that. We're taught not to do it. But he does it and it works. And when you see why, you'll see why it was necessary. One very clear example was, he was reteaching Jasmine Fitzgerald, who's playing Clara. And unfortunately, she can't join us today because she had to go to the hospital. But she's fine. Venger was cleaning her notes again. And Jenny was playing, and then he was really emphasizing, no, you don't listen to the piano. You just have to keep on singing. And Venger just goes, bakit kasi ganito to? And then I had to just simply butt in and say, because the melody belongs to Fosca. But it's Clara singing. So she cannot, because, sorry, if you're not familiar with the story, it's about a guy who's having an affair with a married woman, and then he meets a really, really ugly woman, and falls in love with her. It's as simple as that. But the how they get to that is the complicated process. But that's the very gist of it. And no, she doesn't become beautiful in the end. No. It's Passion because, to make it a bit more sophisticated than the first description is, he thinks he's in love because of the lust that he's enjoying with Clara. He discovers true love with somebody the least you'd expect, because it's just pure love. I will die for you, all that, etc. thing, which is really, really, really beautiful. I don't know why Ross is there, but But anyway, Hoss is also the understudy of Vien, so we will introduce the cast later in more detail. That's the story, and that's what I really want to emphasize with Stephen Sondheim. And I'm sure if or when you start attending the press cons of the other productions, they'll probably say the same thing. How much of a challenge it is to the repetitors, the musical directors. But for me, as a director, it's the easiest thing I've directed, or I am directing in my entire, in the 10 years I've been directing. Why? Because the music is so clear. If you understand the language of Stephen Sondheim, and fortunately I'm such a geek, you know, I've been reading about him since I joined Rep 1987, I was introduced to Sondheim that year. So it's been almost 30 years of just admiring his work. I bought my first book in 92 when I first went to New York. Well, actually I bought 3. I have around 8 or 9 Sondheim books about him or written by him. And I cannot express to you how much how talented this guy is. And he's celebrating his 89th birthday soon. So I think he's working on one last musical. But anyway, where was I? so yun, I lost number of my train of thought. Anyway, the easiest thing I'm directing because I understand his language, it's easy to interpret his music, and the music is what's making me it's helping me make my decisions on what goes on stage, when a light goes on, who the light is focused on. It just flows. I hope the other directors are doing the same. Because if you don't understand Sondheim, you are going to, oh gosh, you're just going to sayang. And I've seen productions now. Sayang. Aral muna kayo. Anyway. Yayabang talaga ako because I studied him without knowing I was actually studying him. I just became a fan. And when you're a fan of someone, you just read up on him, or in today's term, you follow him on Instagram. I know his work. We can spend an entire day just talking about all of his musicals. And I've already directed them mentally in my head, all of his shows. So if you hire me for another show, I'll be able to stage it right away, depending on your budget. So that's passion. So the other question you'll probably be wondering is what I will be doing different. How many of you have seen the video? It's on YouTube anyway. Or they sold CDs, DVDs, and all that. The Broadway production that originally directed by James Lapine. It was very close to what Rep did.
I think Repertory had one.
Yes, Repertory did. Very similar to the James Lapine version. How are we making it different? That had panels moving left to right. We won't have panels. It's going to be very simple. This is by Jason Texon, the son of Tito Jote. So everything is just going to be pushed, entered, lit. It's just going to flow. Simply because I don't want anything else focused on except the story. It's there to complement the story. That will also be the language for the lights and for Tita Zenny's costumes, which I'm afraid is too beautiful. It will, they have to look old. Set has to look old. So now it's, pang debut. But it has to tell the story. And I'm excited about that. And you should actually see the rest that she's done. It's wow. It's so that's what am I going to do different?
Hi, I'm Oswald Buena, and I play Count Ludovic and Soldiers also.
Hello, I'm Lorenzo Mendoza, and I play Private Augenti. Hi, I'm Jonel Mojica and I play Major Rizzoli.
Hi, I'm Timothy Racho and I play Sergeant Lombardi.
Hi, I'm Joshua Chang and I play Lieutenant Barry.
Hi, I'm Vien with a Y, Valderrama, and I play Posca's father.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Salvo and I play Posca's mother.
Hi everyone, I'm Lorraine Lisson and I will play the mistress.
Hi everyone, I'm Sheila Martinez and I'm playing Posca.
Hi, my name is Vien King and I'll be playing Giorgio.
So, not unable to join us today are Noel Rayos, who will be playing the Lieutenant Taras. He's the opera, frustrated opera singer. So typecast. Right? And of course, Jasmine Fitzgerald, who's playing Clara. Oh yeah, and Raul Montesa, he'll be playing the cousin of Fosca, who is the boss of all of the soldiers. He's the colonel. So yun.
No one has ever loved me as deeply as you. No one has truly loved me as you have, Oscar. Love without reason, love without mercy, love without pride or shame. Love unconcerned with being returned, no wisdom, no judgment, no caution, no blame. No one has ever known me as clearly as you. No one has ever shown me what love could be like until now. Not pretty or safe or easy, but more than I ever knew. Love within reason, that isn't love. And I've learned that from you. Loving you is not a choice, it's who I am. Loving you is not a choice, and not much reason to rejoice, but it gives me purpose, it gives me voice to say to the world, this is why I live. You are why I live. Loving you is why I do the things I do.